Today we're going to be doing a bit of a practical trick, and I love teaching our dog tricks that we can use for practical application in our everyday life. So in this trick we're going to be teaching our dogs to wipe their feet, which is really useful, particularly with the winter months approaching. We start this trick by teaching our dogs how to spin. So if your dog already knows this, then you've already got a great head start. So a spin is basically our dogs doing a 360-degree turn in front of us on a specific spot. So we're going to start this off by luring the behaviour. So that's putting some treats on our dog's nose and luring them with it, so using it as sort of a food magnet to draw them in the direction we want, round in a circle. It's really important you try to turn your dog in both directions to start with to see which way they might be most comfortable. Over time you can teach your dog to turn both round to its left and round to its right. But to start with, we're just going to work on one direction. So you're going to take a whole handful of treats and you're going to lure your dog round in that circle. If your dog's quite happy to turn that entire circle first time, then just keep going for that. But some dogs might not be sure to start with, so what you might need to do is use a technique called shaping, which is marking little stages towards the end goal. Over a few repetitions, what you'll probably find is your dog gets really comfortable doing that spin as it understands what it is that you want them to do. So the next stage is to remove the lure. So what we want to do is try and reduce it to start with. So whereas before you might have been taking the treat and moving it the whole way around the circle so that your dog had something to follow, now we're going to only lead our dog for about 50% of the circle. So as you get about halfway round, you're just going to draw your hand out of the way and hopefully your dog will complete that circle on their own. When they get back towards you, you're going to click and treat them. Then we can start to build that up so that we're eventually able to just send our dog around in one direction or the other with just a simple finger flick. So the next stage in the process of teaching this trick is to get our dogs to reliably go to a mat. So we would be wanting to teach this on the doormat that we're going to use in the long run to get our dogs to wipe their feet as they come through the front door. So what we can do is we can motivate our dogs to go to that mat by initially luring them over to it, and when they start to put their feet onto the mat, so when they feel that texture change beneath their feet, we're going to click and treat. But it's really important that when we feed them, we feed our dog from the mat itself, so that the mat itself is the reinforcing area to stand on. So now we're going to be combining the two sections of the exercise, which is sending your dog to the mat and then getting them to do their spin. So we can send our dogs to a mat and then just use that visual cue of your finger turning in the direction you want them to turn. So whether it's to your left or to your right. Good girl. So now we're going to put a cue for this entire trick, which is to wipe your feet. So you're going to say a new cue, wipe your feet, then you're going to use your visual cue to send your dog to the mat and turn them in the direction you want them to go. This means that they're learning to combine those two behaviours together, which is to go to the mat and do that spin motion so that they're getting the dirt off their feet onto the mat. Wipe your feet. This is a really neat trick, so keep on practicing it until you know that reliably your dog will learn to go to the mat when you ask them to. Then what we can do is every time we come in from a walk, we can ask our dogs to spin on the mat to wipe their feet, and that means you can get it as a almost automatic behaviour that when we go through the front door, I do a spin on the mat and I get lots of treats for it. Wipe your feet. Good girlie. We really hope you've enjoyed our Scroll Less, Train More challenge this September. If you've enjoyed training with us, please do leave us a comment below. If you haven't caught up yet on our first 3 tricks in the series, to teach your dog to wave, to go on our feet, and to look behind them, then please do check out the videos linked up here.